Hi there, welcome to a show where I talk about overlooked stuff, where people with nothing better to do might enjoy. Today's topic, science support. But what the hell are you doing? Science support is technically nothing new. Like the common cold, he keeps popping up into the meta every now and then. And while I'm sure that most of you know about AD science support, I'm here to tell you that AP Tank Sion is the better way to support your carries. Now why is that? While Sion has ridiculous synergy with AD, the safest build to run with randos is Max E Rylai's Crystal Rush with Arcane Comet. This allows Sion to have a reliable poking tool, aka kicking minions at the enemies, thus doing a hefty amount of AP damage and poking with Arcane Comet. It allows Sion to play from a safer distance at early levels while also giving him a way to retaliate against poke mages like Lux, Xerath, or long-range ADCs with traps like Caitlyn, Jhin, or Jinx. And most importantly, this gives you the ability to deal with Vayne better. I'm not saying that Vayne automatically or magically becomes a good matchup, I'm just saying it's less painful. And before you worry that we're going full AP, don't worry, we're going full tank after Rylai's, because the most beneficial role you can do for your carries as Sion is to soak up damage like a premium quality sponge. Now that you get the concept, let's move on to how we're making this happen.
You got another Yuri anime.
For our runes, I said before, we're going to use Arcane Comet because poking with your E slows down the enemy and guarantees a hit with Arcane Comet. It's basically just free damage. And with that in mind, we're going to take Axiom Arcanist because the more time Sion can use his ult, the better, because that allows him to roll more, CC for longer, and generally just bulldoze his way through the enemy easier. I've literally had fights where I use ult to engage, kill like 3 to 4 people, and then get it back in with 10 seconds left. It's really good. And then we're going to take Transcendence because the lower ability cooldowns help you use E to kick minions more often early on, and in general it's just better than the other options like Celerity or Absolute Focus. Transcendence is just our best option here. And once again, Scorch for free damage. I wouldn't recommend anything else because that early poke really does matter with Scorch. It builds up over time. Now for a second tree, I would recommend going Shoot Bash and Overgrowth, because Shoot Bash combined with your W effect makes for some hilariously high damage when you auto attack. People just don't expect that. You Q them, you walk up to them with W activated, they shoot you, you auto them, and then boom, it's like a sizable chunk of the HP disappears once you activate Shoot Bash and hit them. And Overgrowth because Sion's W allows him to get more HP when things die around him, so Overgrowth stacks on top of that, allowing him to become an insanely tanky meatball as the game goes on. It's just really good. Now for adaptives, this is mainly up to user preference, but I highly recommend taking ability haste so that it can stack with Transcendence, and then you should take adaptive force so that you can have some oomph in your E kicks early on. And I would say health scaling, but honestly tenacity and slow resist or just standard health works fine as well. I just recommend health scaling so it will synergize with Sion's W passive and Overgrowth. And that's pretty much it for the runes right here. Up next, I'm just gonna say Flash Heal will be your standard bread and butter summoner spell combo for Sion support. Exhaust is also a pretty good option if you want to catch people, but I prefer heal most of the time. So most of the time I just run Flash Heal, and that's pretty much it for Sion, but feel free to experiment if you want to. Now as for items, you're going to want to do your standard support start with World Atlas and 2 health pots. The first item you want to get is Rylai's. It's cheap, it has AP for your E, it gives HP, and it slows people down when you hit them, which is really good for sticking to people. Try to buy either Blasting Wand first or Giant's Belt for maximum effect. For your support item, transform it into Solstice Slay. It's the best one for Sion in my opinion. But if you're feeling kinda spicy, you can go Bloodsong. For boots, take Swifties, Symbiotes, or Defensives. I usually take Swifties because of the movement speed, but it's up to you. Next item is usually Frozen Heart. Slowing down the attack speed of the enemy carry is vital to lowering enemy DPS, and the armor and mana stats it gives are very welcome. The fifth item is either MR or More Armor. For MR, take Abyssal Mask if you have an APC, or Spirit Visage if you have an ADC. For armor, take Trailblazer for movement or Unending Despair for sustain. The last item is Flex, so build according to the situation. Here are some recommended items. For potions, Elixir of Iron is your best bet. As always, experiment and find out what you like. The key thing to remember about Sion is that he is immobile and is prone to poke and kiting, especially early on. With this in mind, there are two scenarios that can happen depending on the matchups. If the enemy support is a vanguard, diver, or melee champion of some sort, then you're in luck. Just catch them with Q and smash them the normal way. It's highly unlikely that they'll win against you because this is literally your home turf. But if they're ranged mages and they have CC deterrents like Jinx traps or Nami bubbles or whatever, hang back. Rushing in will get you poked down and caught most of the time. Instead, use your E and kick minions for poke. While the E damage might not do much against the chunky top laners, it does a sizable amount of damage to ADCs, especially when Arcane Comet and Scorch are thrown into the mix. And you keep this up for the entire laning phase until they make a mistake for you to punish or until they recall. If you do gain the upper hand, take control of the bushes and try to fish for Q knockups. Otherwise, just try to freeze the wave near your tower if your ADC even understands the concept of freezing, and just keep footballing enemy minions back at them. Just free damage over and over again. Keep this up until you get ult. With ult, you have a much more effective combo in fights. Sion ult is a free engage / CC tool. Annoying CC in your face when you're chasing someone? Use ult. Need to extend CC chain after E and Q? Use ult. Need to roll mid for a gank? Use your ult. Do you really hate that one squishy person right in front of you running away? Use ult. And that's the main advantage for Sion post 6. At this point, you should have Rylai soon, and you're gonna start being tanky thanks to your W passive and tank itemization. Combine that with the ult advantages I just spoke about earlier, and you become this highly unstoppable meatball that can just bulldoze through the enemy lines and just slow everyone down with Rylai's Q, E, and just W explosions. It's a pretty effective way to disrupt and tank for your team. And most importantly, don't forget to pew for your carries, and join fights for objectives. There's not much to be said for Sion late game. There's not much to be said for Sion late game. Whatever you did for the mid game usually applies to the late game. Sion support scales pretty well, so just tank and CC people for your carries, engage team fights with ult for massive PP energy, and if everything goes well, you win the game. It's as simple as that. Here is a quick summary of everything we've talked about, plus the pros and cons and champion matchups. I was never much of a Sion player. Never did play him top lane much. I was always just too obsessed with Cho'Gath and other nonsense. But I'm glad y'all voted for me to play Sion support because this shit is really fun. Just kick minions like footballs and run at people. It is just some of the most quarterback football, American football style fun I've had in such a long time in League of Legends. But what do you think? Are you a Sion player? How would you build Sion support? You got any tips you want to share? Did you enjoy watching? And did you subscribe? Do you have your own suggestions for this series? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Your idea could end up in the next community poll. And that's all for today, folks. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like. Over 90% of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel, so consider doing so if you are interested. I'll catch you guys later. Rock Tofu, signing off. If Ash says she's going to get absolutely bumble-clatted by
Is Emmy awake?
Syndra.
I did card.
Really?
There was no need to